after some kind of consensus between the parties and also NGOs or civil society organizations, or not. We have such a situation that actually AKP, what is important when you talk about the results, didn't manage to receive the number of mandates which is enough to, actually to decide to prepare the constitution first of all by AKP itself, and then give it to referendum to people to vote for it. So there must be some kind of consensus, and of course the speech by Erdogan was mentioned, his balcony speech. There is a signal that, of course, I can tell everybody doors for, first of all, for the leader of the main opposition parties open, etc. But I think it was some kind of course, a speech which was also given after 2007 elections, which I also looked at. It's when I was in 2007 in Turkey. The question is if it really will be so that this discussions between parties will take place and will bring positive results. Because there are some red lines already given by the main opposition parties, which cannot be crossed according to these parties. Of course, all are ready to discuss, to take part in these discussions about the new constitution after elections. But there are still some red lines and some issues important for opposition parties, which are not, the issues which are so supported by the main, the governing party. When it comes to, to both Republican People's Party and National Action Party, it is a question of a change of the first chapter, the first articles of the Constitution, which until now cannot be changed. Articles with the main rules the political constitutional system of Turkey is based on, which are also connected with, with some state ideology. Also, when it comes to courts, to the issues which are raised by Peace and Democracy Party, so this pro-Kurdish, this Kurdish party, some of these issues are issues which, for example, autonomy in Turkey. It's a difficult issue not only because of the position of certain parties, but because of the system, political system, which is in Turkey, with the lack of decentralization until now, which is also connected with some ideological bias, etc. So this one question connected with new constitution. The second one is the question of the content. How much, how far this new constitution, if it can be adopted, really, will be this new liberal constitution, which, according to which, the first place will be not for the state itself, but for citizens. It's also connected, of course, with on the one hand, with guaranteeing of different human rights and democratic rules, but at the same time, what's important is to avoid some gummy paragraphs in the constitution, which can be interpreted very broadly, for example, by courts, which was the case very often before in the past. And this is the thing. This new constitution is underlined. It's not only something which is underlined by Turkey, so it's underlined by the European Union, and it will be, I think, the most important issue. Also, not only when it comes to Turkey itself, but also when it comes to Turkey-EU relations. Of course, but it's not only the constitution. It is also the question of different laws. For example, electoral law. If it will be possible to change this 10% threshold, which complicates also the situation when it comes to also the democratization process, but also the representativeness of society. And different other laws, penalty law, etc. This is also the question. All these issues are not so they are very complicated, and it is not so that you can just adopt one law and everything will be changed. This process, of course, implementation is important as well. And there are processes which are connected with a change of system of political system of a state, model of society, and it needs time. So it will be not for sure when we talk about Turkey-EU relations and accession negotiations. It's a process which will be long and hard, but I think it will continue. And maybe at the end, a few words when it comes to think I was asked to talk about also a few words. I mean, Polish presidency in the context of Turkey relations. What Polish presidency can do during 6 months presidency starting from the 1st July. I was talking with many people in Turkey now also with European Commission officials about it, and actually in my opinion what is important, of course, Poland cannot do much in this case. We must understand that EU enlargement in general, not only Turkey-EU relations, it will be not the main subject during the presidency, because there are some problems in the EU which must be solved connected with the economy. We see the Greece now and also other southern countries which show the picture. So, but still, what Polish presidency can do, it is a question that can be posed, and I think it is justified to ask this question. And I think what is important during the Polish presidency, which is having the presidency, is important to think because the country which holds presidency set an agenda during 6 months. So it is important for Poland to use this opportunity and go beyond declarations which are very noticeable when it comes to the position on Turkish accession and Turkey-EU relations. Poland supports Turkey, but I think what is important in case of Polish presidency is to go beyond this, to show that Poland supports not only Ukraine or this eastern dimension, but is supportive of the whole process. And what is important is to simply to have Turkey in agenda, not to forget about Turkey as it was something which happened many times in the past in the different presidencies. And when there is an impression that actually this prospects of EU accession of Turkey is something which is far and far away. There were some proposals from my Turkish friends, from Secretary General Secretary of the European Union issues in Ankara, or from some professors working on EU-Turkey relations. For example, Poland should use the opportunity when it comes to Turkey relations and concentrate more during the presidency on not only on eastern dimension, but for example, Poland should try to convince EU member states to develop relations between and cooperation between Turkey and the EU when it comes to foreign policy, concentrating on Middle East, where also Poland has its interest. The other proposal given by Turkish representatives was to do something when it comes to Cyprus. I mean, to change the situation, not when it comes to Cyprus problem itself, but when it comes to this issue of which is the reason for blocking of 8 chapters during negotiations. But the problem is that actually, what Poland can do when it comes to these issues, to this activity during the presidency is a little bit limited. Also, because Cyprus is one of a trio, both Poland and Denmark, when it comes to holding a presidency. It is one of the issues which must be taken into consideration here. But still, Poland can do some things. It's not so that it can do nothing when it comes to Turkey relations. Okay, it's too long, but.
Thank you so much for this interesting lectures. We will start discussion, but just let me first ask you some questions before we start. And the first questions I would like to ask Dr. Çınar. You mentioned that Turkey started to play more and more important role in the region, and they start to implement some democratic reform as well. But I would like to ask you about the human rights in Turkey, because there is about 57 journalists in prison just now. And what do you think? Because there are some of people, opposition especially, claim that very important role in Turkey started to play the Gülen movement. They took control over the police, and many journalists, because they are just in front of this AKP policy, they are in prison. So what do you think about the Gülen movement, and what is your point of view about this issue? And the second question I would like to ask Aslan, and can you, because you already mentioned that Turkey, the issue of European Union is not so popular, and it became like a not so important issue in the Turkish policy. And when I started to watch Turkish TV station during the campaign, I figured out like nobody even mentioned about the European Union. So this also kind of proof that this European integration is not so important issue in the interior Turkish policy. So I want to ask you the questions like, do you think that Turkey still believe the AKP party especially believe that they will join to in fact they want to join the European Union, because even the president of Turkey, when he was in Poland, he emphasized that we want to be European Union, we will try to do our best to join the European Union. So among the scientists, and especially some opposition, appear some ideas. Maybe they treat this integration just as an instrument, because they in front of the opposition, because they want to implement some reforms just to marginalize influence of the army. So I want to ask you about this topic. And the last, my question is to Adam Szymański. I would like to ask you about the constitution, because as far as I know, Prime Minister of Turkey, he wanted to create a new constitution. He didn't mention, I think, before the election that he wanted to create. He didn't mention how this constitution will look in the future. However, after election, he said it will be more liberal toward the people. And I want to ask you, because opposition, I don't think so that opposition will be able to cooperate him just to change this, create a new constitution. So what about the Kurdish issue? Do you think that maybe he will start to cooperate with Kurds to create a new constitution? And what they will expect? Because a lot of the Kurds, I think they will try to gain more rights, and especially they will try to have autonomy as well. So what do you think that, because I don't think so that ultra-nationalists will be able to cooperate with Erdogan in order to create a new constitution. So what is your point of view about these questions? And then we jump to the question from you, okay?